G'day and aloha, I am Jamel Boukabou, a 2-star executive with Youngevity International. We've just had 1 hour of Dr Joel Wallach, the world famous, well-renowned doctor, naturopathic doctor, speaks at the UN, book in the Smithsonian, nominated for a Nobel Prize in Medicine, recently keynote speaker at the Tesla event. So here is Dr Joel Wallach ND. You can become a distributor if you want, or just a customer, get wholesale prices. And if you do want to do that, contact the person that referred this video to you. And if you don't have a referrer, contact myself with the information down below. I am not a doctor or a healthcare professional, so please consult your own healthcare professional for any health advice you would like. But here is who I think is the best naturopathic doctor on the planet, Dr Joel Wallach. 30-minute lecture, 30-minute Q&A. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Jamel Boukabou, 2-star executive. Aloha. Thank you to Linda Tyler. Firstly, Dr Wallach, who has changed the way that I view health. I also want to thank Tom Chenault, who helped put this together. And it doesn't matter whose team or where you're from, just type that in the chat box. G'day from Australia.
Okay, well, thank you. G'day, Jamal, and good day, everybody. And appreciate you. And everybody would like to have good health for themselves and their families and their loved ones and their associates. And it's at work. It doesn't just happen. I want to introduce a book when it comes to health and longevity. Okay, it's a book called Immortality. Okay, and there's a CD that goes along with it, Immortality. So everybody should look at that. And of course, I have a drjwallach.com, drjwallach.com. It's all lowercase, and you can pick all these books up at the wholesale price. And there's discounts when you buy 10 in cases and all that kind of stuff. We don't go into it, but you can know that that's happening. And one of the things you have to learn, there's so much misinformation about diet. There's so much misinformation about exercise. For instance, exercise can be a good thing, but it has to be done properly. Okay. And I actually have a CD out called Exercise Without Supplementation is Suicide. Exercise without supplementation is suicide. When you look at professional athletes all over the world from all sports, combined, the average lifespan of professional athletes is 62. The average lifespan of a person who's an alcoholic and doesn't do anything really quite correct in any way, shape, or form is 75. When you look at basketball players, the average lifespan is 51. So what's going on here? Well, sweat isn't just water. They say, oh, rehydrate yourself, you're sweating. People drink water. Well, that's why they die early, because you have to replace everything you're sweating out. Sweat is a soup of all the nutrients you sweat out. Also, you have to stay away from the bad stuff so you can maximize absorption of nutrients. Doctors will say, oh, don't take any vitamins and minerals, just eat what you need. I'm sure you hear that in Australia as well as we do here in the United States. Oh, just eat well, you get everything you need. Don't waste your money on vitamins and minerals. Well, every doctor who says that should be put in jail, okay? And so it's one of those things where it's all misinformation. Another one is, it would be the same equivalent as telling people, do not put oil in your car, you're just wasting your money. Just put dirt from Texas in there, okay? Or put dirt, from Oklahoma, or put dirt from whatever part of Australia is you have a lot of oil in. Just put dirt from there, there's bound to be some oil in it. An insane person would just scream and run away. But when a doctor says, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need, people beat their chest and say, my doctor said I can get everything I need just by eating well. Why would I want vitamins and minerals? Okay. Well, the human being has the genetic capacity to live well beyond 100. Okay. The longest lived countries are written up in my book called Rare Earths Forbidden Cures. We actually have a 2 CD set by the same title, Rare Earths Forbidden Cures. And the longest lived people, they get written up all the time. This goes back to, I would say, in the 1920s, there's reports coming in from China and Pakistan and Hunza and the Giltar Glacier area of Hunza. There were people who were 265 years old and so forth, and the New York Times sent their most vicious, aggressive investigative reporter out there to check it out. And after a year chasing everything down, he writes them and says, look, this is real. These people do live to be 180, 200, 260. And he wrote a report. It was published in the New York Times. And then he wrote a book called Lost Horizon. Many of you are familiar with that book. 1933, it became a best-selling movie, Lost Horizon. James Hilton was this reporter's name. And he pointed out that these people who lived in these areas live a long time because of the glacier grinding up the rocks in the valleys, and the minerals are coming out in the river underneath the Giltar Glacier. And so he invented a place called Shangri-La, where people just live forever because they're eating all the right stuff. Well, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street, New York City, in America, Thomas Edison pulled the switch on the first commercial electric generating plant that pretty much ended our conscious supplementation, because before that, people were taking the wood ashes out of their stoves and putting the wood ashes in their gardens. And wood ashes aren't ashes, they're actually minerals that the tree had sucked up. You burn the carbon in the wood. And but the minerals that are left in the wood stove and the fireplace, you would put into the garden. The vegetables would suck up those minerals. You ate those vegetables. And depending on where people live, they got 3 minerals, 8 minerals, 12 minerals, 20 minerals, 30 minerals, 40 minerals, because nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. That's why some places on earth people live a long time. In some places on earth, people don't even live there because they can't live a long time and farm there because they can't get enough nutrition. Okay, well, that was a long time ago. Well, now you can supplement and live anywhere. Okay, even in space, when you're in a spaceship. And so supplementation makes up the difference. Okay, nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. They occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ice cream. And the only way you can level the playing field when it comes to longevity and health, okay, Immortality, the book, and Immortality, the CD, is to supplement with all 90 essential nutrients. The reason why my thesis for my postdoctoral fellowship is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure is because I showed there were no genetically transmitted diseases, there were no genetically transmitted birth defects, and that all species, all vertebrates, whether you're a hummingbird or a Komodo dragon or a wombat or a human being or a horse or a dog or a cat or a fish, all vertebrates require 90 essential nutrients to maximize their longevity and also to maximize the health of their babies. Okay, so babies are born without birth defects. And we can do this. We have a basic program we call the Healthy Start Pack. And then we have what we call we have the secret sauces for over 600 different diseases. For instance, a Healthy Start Pack contains the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. But if you have type 2 diabetes, you want to throw in 2 bottles a month of the sweeties. Take 3 of those twice a day and take your blood sugar. And as your blood sugar begins to drop, you reduce your medication based on the numbers of the blood test or urine test, and usually within 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, you're off your medication and you're an ex-diabetic. Well, people always ask me, okay, Wallach, okay, I'm an ex-diabetic now. How long do I have to stay on this diet? Forever. Otherwise, within 6 months, you'll be back to where you were before you started the program. Well, how long do I have to stay on the supplements? Forever, because these nutrients are not found universally in our foods. And if you were to take a carrot from every state in the United States and every province in Australia and analyze that carrot, no 2 of them would be alike when it came to the number of minerals and the amount of each mineral in there. Okay, remember, nutritional minerals occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ice cream. They occur in veins like gold and silver. And so the only way you can maximize everything to get maximum health and longevity is to supplement. So with that said, I'm going to talk about some of these diseases, which are classic things, which doctors say are genetic. Okay. We're talking about heart disease. Heart disease is not genetic. Heart disease can be caused by many, many different things. Dr. Milan and I went to Qishan, China. We did 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 that died of Qishan disease, which is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease, which kills young athletes all over the world, in Australia, in the United States, in Europe, South America, Africa. Young athletes all over the world die from this hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease, a deficiency of a single nutrient. And so in our sports drink, Rebound. We put 100 nutrients in there, 78 of which, there you go, Rebound, good man. 78 of which are minerals. We put extra of that mineral in there. So if athletes use our Rebound instead of Gatorade and Red Bull, which only have a couple of nutrients in it, mostly sugar and caffeine, they're not going to die of this sudden heart death. Okay. But of course, when the companies come around and say, okay, well, here's $1,000 if you just talk about our product, to the reporters. They take the $1,000. They're drinking Red Bull, they're drinking Gatorade, and they're not getting the nutrients they need to prevent that hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart attack, and they die. And so it's essential that people pay attention to that kind of detail. And then other things, people, they just don't pay attention. Doctors don't pay attention. Biggest killers in hospitals in America, this has been published several times in the last 20 years. Okay. We're talking about doctors are the third leading cause of death in hospitals from medical errors. And so if you guys would find out what the numbers are for me in Australia, so next time I call, or between now and then, you can email me, the numbers. But basically what Johns Hopkins showed was the number 3 cause of death in America in hospitals every year is medical errors. Number 1 is heart disease. Number 2 is cancer. Number 3 is medical errors. Each year, according to Johns Hopkins famous medical school, medical doctors in their workplace in hospitals kill their patients at a rate of 250,000 to 440,000 from simple medical errors. They don't even get a parking ticket for killing 440,000 of their customers in their workplace. They don't even get a parking ticket. So why would you let a doctor check you into the hospital for a week to run tests to see what diseases you have? You can go to a pharmacy without a prescription, and following the information in a book called Let's Play Doctor, it'll tell you how to use these little test strips that cost you $1.50. You don't need a prescription to get the test strips. They sell them in bottles of 3 and 5 and 10 and so forth. You can find out kidney function. You can find out if you have diabetes. You can find out all kinds of stuff, okay, from that $1.50 test strip for urine. Also, they have the test strips for blood. And for $1.50, you can find out if you have diabetes or not. And then you don't have to worry about going to the hospital and being in the hospital overnight and getting tested and doing procedures on you and all that kind of stuff, and wind up killing you, and you become part of that statistic, which is an annual statistic. It was first published in 2000, I think, 13, and it just freaked everybody out. And it's not like I'm coming up with this. This is Johns Hopkins, very famous medical school in the United States. And so I want to also talk about, it's all in your head. This book talks about 25 different diseases that are caused by osteoporosis of the skull. Osteoporosis of the skull is not something that your doctor talks to you about. He says, oh, you have osteoporosis. And so, we're looking at pain in your knees and your hips and your elbows, your shoulders. And, you're going to eventually need a joint replacement. So we'll keep track of it. And, we'll talk about the joint replacement when the time comes. $50,000 per joint. Okay. Well, they never talk about the 25 different diseases you get from osteoporosis of the skull. And you get tinnitus, ringing in the ears, you get vertigo, you get Bell's palsy, you get trigeminal neuralgia, you lose your sense of smell, you get ONA, optic nerve atrophy. When your skull squeezes your spinal cord, and people don't realize this, Jamal, that your spinal cord is formed in the brain, comes out of the big hole in the back of the skull called foramen magnum, which is Latin for big hole. And when your skull squeezes that spinal cord as it's coming out, you can get what's called atrial fibrillation, which is irregular heartbeat, and your heart jumps around. And there's a congressman, a state congressman for the state of Baltimore, Maryland. And this is just like last year. This guy was into Johns Hopkins, and they talked him into doing an ablation where they're going to kill part of the heart muscle to stop that heart from jumping around, because it was distracting and uncomfortable for Elijah Cummings was this congressman's name, Elijah Cummings, and he was in his early 60s. And so they anesthetized him at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine surgery room, and they cut him open, take a hot soldering iron and touch the heart muscle, trying to kill the part of the heart muscle that has electrical signals making it go crazy, and they kill him. They kill this congressman, okay, which is a federal elected official in our government. Nothing happened to the two doctors that killed him. They went out after they killed him and had a beer and said, "Oh my gosh, we never expected Elijah Cummings to die, but cheers, have a beer, and we got new patients to see tomorrow." But nobody went to jail. Nobody was fined. Nobody, was suspended from work for a year or anything like that. Nothing happened. And so you really have to take care of yourself. And this is why we came up with these programs. And again, I want people to realize that this book, It's All in Your Head, is one of the 4 books I want people to get. The quartet of books, Let's Play Doctor, Let's Play Herbal Doctor, Passport to Therapy, and It's All in Your Head. And this will cause the people to begin to look at things. If you do the Youngevity business as a business, those be tax deductible because they're tools, so that everybody in your business who are associates, who are distributors, should get these books. They're tax deductible, and everybody in your business is going to give the same answer for the same question. That's imperative. If you're letting everybody try and figure out what vitamin and mineral to use for what disease, they'll just say, "Oh, take vitamin C." Well, that's not going to cut it. Take calcium. Take some Tums from the pharmacy. You don't even need a prescription. Take some Tums, you'll get some calcium. Well, that's not going to cut it because your bones require 90 essential nutrients. Oh, we'll just take your thyroid out. We'll just do surgery and take your thyroid out. Well, let's give it 90 days and see if a supplement program and a change of diet will heal your thyroid gland. Why would you let them do surgery on? You're going to go to the hospital and be one of those victims like Elijah Cummings, that congressman? No, no, no. So I urge everybody to get a hold of some of these books. Join us as an associate. You'll be able to get the products for wholesale. It's a $50 fee once a year to maintain your distributorship with Youngevity. It's like $4.10 per month, okay? $50 per year. It's a tax deductible fee. And you pay wholesale for the products. If you get on auto ship, I pay the shipping, so you're going to save a lot of money. Okay, if you get on auto ship, and then of course you want to visit these various programs we have, like these Zooms, so you gain knowledge, and you'll be able to know where to look for information to help your customers and your associates and so on. Your Youngevity is a willable asset. You can retire when your time comes. You can still qualify and get your money, your check every month. Pick somebody in your business who's going to run the business after you retire. If you die, if you put it in your will properly, your Youngevity business is a willable asset. It's a willable asset. You can leave it to your kids. You can leave it to your brothers and sisters. You can leave it to your church. You can leave it to your state. You can leave it to whoever you want to. Okay? And it's one of those things where people don't realize the scope of value of owning your own business. People don't realize the scope and value of helping other people. And so I just get breathless when we talk about these things, because more and more people now, because of this COVID, and of course I checked up on the numbers in Australia for COVID. As of this morning, there's 24,472 cases of COVID, and deaths, let's see here. When it came to deaths, there was, let me find the deaths here. Oh, and deaths in Australia were 472 deaths in Australia. And Australia's population, okay, is 24,811,000, okay? And so it's one of those things where we want to get the deaths down to zero. And how do you do that? Well, you have to give up all the bad foods. You have to take the supplements. You have to take the basic 90 appropriate for all these pre-existing conditions. All these pre-existing conditions are kind of like a red warning light telling you that you're going to get the COVID, you're going to get trouble, okay? And so you need to get rid of these pre-existing conditions. We're talking about high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney failure, dialysis, heart disease, asthma, bronchitis, atrial fibrillation, thyroid issues, arthritis, low back problems, sciatica, osteoporosis of your skull. And with osteoporosis of your skull, we're talking about diseases like atrial fibrillation again, COPD, reflux, bloating, diarrhea, gastroparesis, pain in your stomach, hiccups is a very good indicator you got osteoporosis of the skull, Bell's palsy, ONA, optic nerve atrophy, vertigo, Meniere's disease, it's also vertigo, tinnitus, ringing in the ears, Paget's disease, your skull will get an inch thick, it should only be a quarter inch thick. That's what causes the squeezing of all these nerves. Okay, and spinal cord paralysis, okay? All these things are totally preventable by supplementing properly, and they're all totally reversible by supplementing properly. Don't let doctors do surgery on you. Give it 90 days before you let doctors start cutting on your nerves and your skull and your brain and so forth. Remember, they're the third leading cause of death in hospitals. Okay, with that said, okay, I guess I got 6 or 7 minutes left. And I'm going to remind everybody that if you want to add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life, you get a hold of this book, Immortality, and the CD that goes along with it, Immortality. I just listened to that CD again myself today, make sure it was okay. That CD is so good, it really, really lays it out, what you need to do to add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. If you like exercise, don't forget, in addition to the 90 essential nutrients, you want to use our Rebound. It comes in 30 individual servings of powder in a box, or it comes in cases of 12-ounce cans of the Rebound. It has 100 nutrients in it, 78 minerals. It doesn't get any better than that. And you can sort of give them out as samples. People like that kind of stuff, and they will tend to drink something like a Rebound rather than a soft drink if they know it's available and it has good things in it that's going to add health, okay? Especially for their kids and their loved ones, their parents, their brothers and sisters, their pastors, their mates, their workmates. And so this is something, you don't have to have a store. You don't have to have inventory. You don't have to have employees. You just run your business, even if you're living in your car, you can run your business out of your computer, out of your telephone, forward the messages or the orders to your warehouse there in your location in Australia and New Zealand. And then they will ship out the orders. And the end of the month, they send you a check based on the volume you create in the community that you built, okay? And you get the tax breaks of billionaires. So it doesn't get any better than that. So with that, I'm going to kind of go to Jamel and put it back in your hands so we know what we're doing here.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wallach, for all that super valuable information. And what he said just then is all recorded. So you can get a recording of that. We're going to go to Q&A now. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time, for us down under New Zealand. And also we've got callers from USA as well. So we are going to get to everybody's calls. Hopefully, we've got about 20 minutes to go. And I have all your messages here. Firstly, Michelle Graham, big distributor there up in Queensland. I am going to unmute you. You can unmute your end too. And Michelle, go ahead with your question.
Hi, Jamel. Hi, Dr. Wallach.
Hello.
G'day. I've got a couple of questions. I'll just scroll back here. We got one customer who purchased the Good Herbs anti-parasitic support because she wants to give her family the like the old time deworming protocol. Can you give dosages for adults and children?
Read the labels.
Yeah.
Read the label. It'll tell you the dosage.
And should it be done once or twice a year?
Read the labels. It'll be on the label.
Oh, okay, lovely. Okay, now another lady, she was diagnosed with an aneurysm, so we had her on the heart and brain pack, but she has been suffering, well, she had suffered nosebleeds for a couple of years, but when she went onto the heart and brain pack, the nosebleeds started and very, very severe. She couldn't get the bleeding to stop. She ended up in hospital. And the doctor, of course, said, stop taking the EFAs, probably because they're blood thinners. So we're just wondering, she had been on the Prohoba Omega and didn't have that issue. But
okay, now stop.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. Now you have to appreciate there's a reason for her bleeding out of her nose. How old is
Correct.
this lady?
She's in her mid-30s.
Okay, and how much does she weigh?
She would be about 60 kilos and about,
Okay, which is 130 pounds, yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay, so here we go. What I'd like to know is, in her blood test, does she show low blood platelets?
Right.
Okay, because when you have low blood platelets, you get this type of bleeding. You get nosebleeds, you see older people with the bleeding under their skin and that kind of thing. They'll have blood in their bowel movement and so on. And this is the same gal with the aneurysm?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Does she have white, gray, or silver hair? I know she's a young woman, but does she have any white, gray, or silver hair? Do you know?
No, she's fairly,
Okay. Okay. Now, the reason I asked that, the same deficiency that causes aneurysms causes varicose veins in the legs and the arms and lungs and everything like that, and contributes to the bleeding. But it's a lack of platelets. Your bone marrow doesn't get enough nutrition because you're eating gluten. And so the gluten stops the absorption of nutrients because the villi and the intestines go away. You lose about 95% of your absorptive surface. And so over a period of years, suddenly now you start all these symptoms and doctors are running into the hospital, okay, for something you should be able to fix, okay, with just a diet change. Get off of gluten, no wheat, bran, or rye oats of any kind. Live like an Asian on rice, and no fried rice, but rice, wild rice, white rice, yellow rice, red rice. Also baked sweet potatoes with butter. And then, of course, fish and poultry and red meat, but no gluten. And give the 90 essential nutrients. I'd go with the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, 1 per 100 pounds of body weight. And I would also throw in she's got to have you got to have the one form or another of the omega-3s. Otherwise, she is going to get blood clots. Okay, and so it's one of those things where once you find out what's going wrong here, give her the supplements. Get rid of the gluten so she can absorb the nutrients. It goes to the bone marrow. The bone marrow makes platelets, and there's no more bleeding. In the meantime, she might go to a doctor's office, a hematologist doctor's office, say, I have low blood platelets in my last blood test. Can you give me a transfusion here in your office? I don't want to go to the hospital because they kill everybody there, but I'll come for a transfusion of somebody that has normal platelet levels. And you can do that once every 2 weeks or once every month and keep my platelets up from a transfusion, and I won't be bleeding out of my nose.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Should she stop taking the EFAs because of the blood thinning thing?
Well, you say she used another one that didn't cause that?
Yeah, the Prohoba Omega, she seemed okay with.
Okay, well then go with the Prohoba Omega, and the ones that come with the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, give to her husband or her mom or dad or somebody else. Don't throw them away.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
But she's bleeding because she's not getting the nutrition to her bone marrow to make platelets, and those doctors should go to jail. Okay, when they put her in the hospital.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Michelle. And we are going to go to Susan now in Hawaii. Aloha, Susan. I know Susan very well. And I'm going to let you say good day to Dr. Wallach and a big aloha, and your question on behalf of a friend, I believe, today.
Aloha oi.
I have somebody that I'm working with, and she's on the 90 supplements, and she's been going to chiropractic for several years. But anyway, he's used this little tool on her for about 6 months. It basically, if you have a little pain in your back, he kind of hits it with that. It kind of looks like a hammer, but it like energizes it and that kind of thing. But anyway, last week he did each side of her neck, and she said he did it a little bit extra hard. So by the time she got down to her car, she felt a little queasy and her head hurt. So she went home and relaxed and felt better, but she called him and he said, well, she could come in. So he sat her in the chair and did some things manually. So I talked to her today. She's feeling better. Yesterday, I told her probably what she should take is, the calcium mag drink.
Okay, let's back up. Let's stop.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
Okay, how old is she? What does she weigh?
I guess she's about 67, and she weighs about 200 pounds, I'd say.
Okay. Well, she needs to get rid of all her bad foods. I mean, you just can't say, take some Tums from the pharmacy. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So she needs to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. I want her to get the MSM, so she can take 3 of those twice a day, be 1 bottle a month. And she needs to take the collagen or glucogel. She could take 5 of those 3 times a day. It's 2 bottles a month of the capsules. But she's got to get rid of all the gluten. No wheat, no barley, rye, no oats. She's got to live like an Asian, live on rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables and fish and poultry and red meat. Absolutely no gluten, no bread, no spaghetti, no pancakes, no waffles, no bagels, no hamburger buns, none of that kind of stuff. Okay. You can't tell them to take some little small thing when she's got this. Okay.
Right.
And okay. And if she still has pain from the chiropractor, she can use our Soothe from our Hemp FX division, put 4 or 5 drops of our trauma oil in a teaspoon of the Soothe that comes in a little pump bottle, and she can put that on her neck. And at her age, she might even have osteoporosis of the skull. And so you need to ask her, does she have any ringing of the ears? Does she have balance problems? Because the chiropractor is not going to deal with her nutritional stuff. She's going to have to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Just treating osteoporosis with a chiropractic adjustment is like putting dirt from Texas into your car instead of oil.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, one other thing, could I ask Jamel to write those things down?
Do not worry, Susan. I have it all recorded, and I'll get back to you personally.
Okay.
And,
all right. Thank you. Thank you,
Aloha.
Doctor.
Thank you, Susan.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you so much. Aloha.
You bet.
And Susan saw Dr. Wallach live a couple of years ago in Hawaii. And so Susan wanted to say a big thank you and hello to Doc. I said, here's your opportunity to talk to Doc and help somebody as well. So Susan's a great distributor in Hawaii. I'm in Australia, so this is how this business can work. We're all helping each other out. Doesn't matter what group you're in, you get to ask a question. I'm going to go to Paul. Thank you, Susan. Aloha, and I'll talk to you soon. And don't forget, everybody, this is recorded, so you don't need to ask Dr. Wallach a question twice. It's all recorded, and I'll follow up personally to everybody. Paul, unmute yourself your end, and you can ask Dr. Wallach a question. Paul is from Sydney. G'day, Paul.
G'day, Jamel. G'day, Dr. Wallach.
G'day, sir.
G'day. Yeah. Sorry. I'm 65. I weigh 227 pounds. I'm 6 foot high. I'm tall. And I've got a staghorn kidney stone. How would you get rid of that?
Okay, it'll take time to get rid of that. When you have kidney stones, okay, what happens is your parathyroid glands, not your thyroid glands, but your parathyroid glands pull calcium out of your bones because you have a calcium deficiency. And so the job of the parathyroid gland is to keep the calcium levels proper in your blood. So it kind of overreacts, pulls too much calcium out. And your doctor, I'll bet you, told you to don't eat dairy, don't supplement with calcium.
Yeah.
Did he? Is that what he said?
Yeah. He said that.
Yeah, he should go to jail.
Yeah,
okay, because
so
so when you get kidney stones, that's your parathyroid glands pulling too much calcium out of your bones, trying to keep your blood calcium up to where it belongs. Okay, that's the function of the parathyroid glands. And so when you have a kidney stone, whether it's the size of a little pea or it's a staghorn kidney stone, it looks like fingers going in all different places, nooks and crannies of the kidney. Okay, so you need a big guy, you weigh
227.
What? 227.
227 pounds. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you need to get rid of all the bad stuff. Get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rye, oats, no sugar. And then I want you to take 2 of the Healthy Brain and Heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want you to get the MSM. I want you to take 2 bottles a month of the MSM. So you can take 3 of those with each meal, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. If it's a struggle to get the MSM in there for a while, we do have the Pro Joint FX, which has MSM in it. And so you can get 3 of those with each meal. That'll be 3 bottles a month of the Pro Joint FX. So you need that MSM to deal with the kidneys, okay? I also want you to get 3 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. It'll support healthy blood pressure, but it'll also support healthy blood flow through the blocked arteries in the kidneys, okay? and also help your blood system take away slowly. It's going to be slowly. It might take 6 months to get rid of that staghorn stone in your kidney, but I would do that. I'd rather spend the 6 months doing it than go to a hospital and be one of those people that get killed
Yeah,
in the
I
hospital, right?
I actually went to the hospital and they lasered my left-hand side, 3 operations, and the doc basically said the first one was capped at $20,000, and I thought, okay, Medicare paid for that, which I thought, these guys are ripping me off. Yeah.
Yeah, well, basically, they have kids they want to send to college, so that's why they put you in the hospital for 3 days and run up those procedures, right? And insurance pays, and they don't feel like they're robbing you because insurance pays. Well, when you do enough of that kind of stuff, your insurance rates go up, you know, the next year because you're now a risk.
With all that stuff, Doc, I'm also a diabetic type 2. It doesn't matter, does it? Just do
no. Now, I also want you to add now, so you didn't tell me that earlier. So,
sorry, guys.
So you're also a diabetic type 2. You want to get two bottles a month of the sweeties. You can take 3 of those twice a day. Yeah. Don't cold turkey off your medication, but continue to check your blood sugar, right?
Yeah.
And as your blood sugar begins to go down, you can slowly reduce the medication based on the numbers. And then eventually, sometimes it's as quickly as 2 to 4 or 6 weeks. I don't care if you've been a diabetic for 30 years. In 2, 4, 6 weeks, you'll be an ex-diabetic. You'll be able to drop the medication completely. But you have to stay on the diet. Otherwise, in 6 months' time, you'll be back in the hole again. Okay?
True.
You can't go back to your old terrible ways, right? If you like to drink beer, you look like a big fella, like you drink beer. And so you need to, you need to drink beer from Japan and China made from rice. You cannot have beer made with wheat, barley, rye, and oats because the wheat, barley, rye, and oats is called what? Gluten.
Gluten. That's right.
Yeah. I don't eat gluten, but I drink 6 bottles of beer a day.
Good man.
Okay. So all sources of gluten must be eliminated, including cereal. You know, the breakfast of champions. You know the breakfast of champions? Wheaties.
No,
Wheaties.
Yeah.
It's a wheat breakfast cereal.
Wheat Bix flakes over here.
Okay. Keep in touch.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you very much. And Paul's a distributor there in Sydney as well. And
all right.
We're going to go to Rosanne now. Rosanne, you are unmuted. If you would like to ask Dr. Wallach your question, go ahead.
Hi, Doctor. I'm just wondering about, I had 2 miscarriages, and while I was going through the miscarriages, well, actually before I had the miscarriages,
okay, I'm hearing talking. Wait a minute. I can't hear you because I'm hearing talking in the background.
Oh, yep. Okay, hang on. Wait, I'll go to somewhere where it's a bit quieter. So while I was pregnant, I was actually quite depressed, where I couldn't function.
Stop. I need a little more information. You said you had several miscarriages. What stage of pregnancy were you? Was it 2 weeks, 2 months, 6?
They were both. Yep, they were both 7 weeks. 7 weeks pregnant.
Okay, and did the embryos have any birth defects?
Not that I know of. I only know with the second miscarriage, they said that the baby wasn't growing. It was more of the size of a 3 or 4 week fetus.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so basically, do you have any other issues? High blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, back problems, anything like that?
No, but after I had the first miscarriage, I was getting really excruciating periods, and I thought that perhaps they, because I had a history of ovarian cysts, and I thought maybe they were popping, but they had a look and they said there was nothing like that.
Okay, stop.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any history of asthma or skin problems, eczema, dermatitis, or psoriasis?
No.
Okay. Any bowel problems, constipation, diarrhea, ulcerative colitis? Do you ever have diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, anything like that?
No. Well, I was diagnosed with IBS, but they had just
irritable bowel syndrome. Okay. Yeah, you have a gluten problem. That's all caused by gluten.
Mm-hmm.
Irritable bowel syndrome is gluten.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to get rid of gluten. No wheat, no butter, rye. It's the reason why that embryo was like a 4-week-old embryo instead of a 6-week-old embryo is because you're not getting enough nutrition. The reason why you had miscarriages, you're not getting enough nutrition, even though you may have been taking prenatal vitamins. Mm-hmm. So No gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. No wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. Everybody in the household, spouse, roommate, renters, dog, cat, bird, fish, mom and dad, other kids, everybody's got to be drop dead gluten-free, so there's no cross-contamination in the laundry and the food preparation surfaces and the beds and so forth, right? You need to live like an Asian, rice and sweet potatoes. Even beer must be rice, whether Japanese or Chinese. It cannot be European or Aussie beer because it's made with wheat, barley, rye, and oats, okay? Then how much do you weigh?
61 kilos.
Okay, so 125, 130 something pounds. So I want you to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month, half a dose of everything at breakfast, the other half at dinner time. I also want you to take the MSM, okay, which will help heal the intestines faster. I want you to take 3 of those twice a day. That's 1 bottle a month. Or if you can't get that, get the Pro Joint FX. Take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month. It has MSM in it. And then you have to do this for 3 months before you get pregnant again. Okay, and you have to do it all through the pregnancy. If you're going to breastfeed the baby, you got to do it, to make sure all these nutrients come through your breast milk for the baby. If you're going to feed the baby a formula, then you get our kids toddy and the EFAs and things like that, and put that in the formula, so the baby will have all those nutrients, right? But right now, you need to be taking these heavy-duty nutrient programs for a minimum of 3 months, maybe even 6 months, before you go for a pregnancy again. Got to take it all through pregnancy. Don't take their prenatal vitamins, okay, because they're not strong enough for you. And you need to make sure you're staying away from all the bad stuff so you can maximize absorption of these nutrients. The fact that you had IBS and the embryo was half the size it should have been tells you you have an absorption problem. Okay, so you can control this. Yes.
Can I just ask you? At the moment, like I have been on the Tangy, I've been on the Smart FX, and I've been taking the Xerafem. I'm just wondering, can I take the Xerafem when I get pregnant, or is that a no-no?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
If you're producing, you're producing your own estrogen and progesterone and stuff like that, you don't need that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just because of the depression that I was going through when I was pregnant, and it just,
okay. Well, here's the deal. The embryo was trying to take all your nutrition. So the reason you were depressed is you didn't get enough nutrition for your brain. Make sure you're eating 3 eggs twice a day with a soft yolk. Hard-boiled don't count. Fried eggs won't count, right? Don't put flour in your scrambled eggs. There's wheat, right? But you can take 3 eggs twice a day. And because you have this depression issue, I would also throw in de-stress capsules. Take 3 of those twice a day. De-stress capsules are for the metabolism of the brain, and you won't be depressed, because depression is a simple nutritional deficiency, and going to a psychiatrist and talk therapy and taking their drugs and everything is a misadventure, especially if you're trying to get pregnant and have a healthy baby.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, keep us informed.
I will.
God bless you. Okay, you bet.
Too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Rosanne. We're going to go to Deb now in Melbourne. Deb, go ahead, unmute yourself and ask Dr. Wallach a question.
Hello, Deb.
Wallach, my mum's 89 in November. She's probably about 5'2", about 50 kilos up and down. Not much. She's very thin. She's and during the COVID lockdown, she's craving human touch and a cuddle from somebody, because she's had hardly any of that since probably March. She's becoming. She's
no, wait a minute. Is she at home? Is she in a nursing home or hospital? Where's she at?
She's in she lives in a retirement village, but in her own unit.
Okay. Does she have a dog or a cat or a hamster?
Nah. No.
Okay. I'd get her a little cage with a hamster or something like that, and that she's got to take care of that hamster, and if she can hold it in her lap and stroke it while she's watching TV or something like that, because you can't have a person there all the time. But anytime she wants to cuddle with something, she can cuddle with that hamster or maybe a dog. You can get a dog that only weighs 3 pounds. These little miniature poodles, they only weigh 3 pounds. It's not like it's a 100-pound dog going to knock her down and break a leg or something. And so I would do that. or maybe even a little bird or a parakeet in a cage where she can feed it and teach it how to talk to her and that kind of stuff.
She's super
And
fit. She's just actually given her bike to my daughter because she's a bit scared she'll fall off it now. But she's been riding, she swims, she goes to exercise classes when they're on.
Okay, good.
But lately she's had these bouts of, well, she said it's not actually diarrhea, but she's going about 4 or 5 times a
Gluten
day.
alert, gluten alert, gluten alert, gluten alert, gluten alert, no gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, or oats in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And then she weighs 100 pounds. I'd have her take 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month, a half a dose of everything at breakfast, half a dose of everything at dinner time. And I'd also get the de-stress capsules. I get 1 bottle of those, so you could take 3 of those a day, 1 with each meal. And, yeah, I would get her, a little 3-pound puppy dog or a hamster or maybe a parakeet or something like that she can take care of. Is there all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of for her waiting for 3 hours at the door breathlessly for somebody to come by and knock on the door.
Yes. No, that's a good idea. But she's actually losing her memory a lot too, and that's really worrying her because she's just had these blood tests. Everything's come back that she's fine, but she.
Well, make sure she's eating 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing fried. No fried eggs. Right. She lived like an Asian, soft boiled and soft poached. Soft scrambled in butter, no margarines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get all that shopping and I'll take it over and I'll write her so she doesn't forget.
Okay, thank you. Keep us informed.
I will, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Deb. And we are coming close to the bottom of the hour, maybe time for 2 quick questions. And then this will be recorded, so let me know. And if you haven't got my details, just send me a message or contact your upline. They all know me as well. I am going to go now on Jillian. If you've got a quick question, which I think everybody's interested in, if you want to unmute yourself there, Jillian. It's a question on villi. Go ahead, Jillian, from Perth.
Hello, Dr. Wallach. A pleasure to speak to you in person. Now, the question I have is about gluten. When people go off wheat, oats, barley, and rye, do their villi regrow? And if they do, how long does it take usually?
Well, usually if they're very good about this and they're taking their nutrients, okay, you require nutrients to regrow. Okay, they can't just get a gluten-free, but they got to get gluten-free and take their nutrients. Usually within 2 weeks' time, they will see a huge difference. Diarrhea goes away, constipation goes away, their belly pains go away. They're starting to feel energy because they're beginning to absorb things. And usually within 60, 90 days, the complete repair has taken place. But she's got to stay gluten-free forever.
Wonderful.
And got to stay on the nutrients forever, because if they go back to the old ways, within a couple of months, they'll be right back down in the hole.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you.
You bet.
Jillian's doing wonderful things as a distributor over there, helping her friends and associates in Perth, the most isolated city in the world. In Western Australia, it is. We're going to go to Franchesco for the last call now. Franchesco, if you want to, unmute yourself, your end, and ask Dr. Wallach a question, go ahead. I believe it's for your mother. Yep, it's a bit scratchy there, so I'll read it out for you. His mother weighs 130 pounds. She's 4.8 feet high. She has been on the 90 for a while now. She's also taking niacin as well as glucogel, but she has problems with extra phlegm and mucus. She gets a very bad case of asthma, but it's only temporary and happens a couple of times a year. She thinks she has kidney problems as she has been experiencing lower back pain. It's said by doctors, and a few people have commented to him that humans should not take calcium if they have kidney-related health issues for discomfort.
Those doctors should go to jail. Okay.
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 Well, yeah. About that.
Okay. How much does she weigh? 130 pounds.
130 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. So need to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, barley, rye, and oats, no sugar. And then I'd have her take 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. Get another bottle of selenium. There's 1 bottle of selenium come with the healthy brain and heart pack, so you can take 3 of those twice a day. Everything else, a half a dose of breakfast, half a dose of dinner time. Again, you want to get the MSM, 3 of those twice a day, 1 bottle a month. If you can't get that, get the Pro Joint FX, 2 bottles a month. Take 3 of those twice a day. It has MSM in it. And the asthma, okay, is a nutritional deficiency that occurs always because of a gluten problem. So it's absolutely essential to get rid of gluten. No wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. Live like an Asian. Rice and sweet potatoes. No fried rice, but wild rice, brown rice, red rice, yellow rice, etc. And did she have any other issues? Am I missing? Did she have high blood pressure, diabetes?
I'll just try and unmute Franchesco one more time.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
Okay, so let's go with this. And even if she's 100 years old, these people recover very quickly on this program because it's very straightforward. Low back problems has to do with degenerative disc disease, osteoporosis of the back and the bones, and it's known as sciatica, where you get peripheral neuropathies in the feet. The same thing can happen with the skull squeezing the spinal cord as it comes out of the brain, causing what used to be called Erb's palsy. I've renamed it Wallach's palsy because Dr. Erb said it was a genetic disease. No, it's a simple nutritional deficiency problem. And people say, well, you're kind of arrogant, Wallach, naming it after yourself. I said, well, I did that. I don't care, you know, if you want to chastise me or if you, but I didn't want people to go for 1,000 years thinking that a nutritional deficiency was a genetic disease. And so I figured if it became controversial, let's have a, a discussion between the different proponents. And that way we'll get the truth out. And that's what I wanted. But thank you. Yeah, but these things are all very quickly resolvable. They're all nutritional deficiencies. One of the quickest ones will be the mucus and the asthma stuff. Okay, it's all nutritional deficiencies, secondary always to gluten. You get rid of the gluten, it reduces your risk of serious complications if you get COVID. So it's very, very important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach, for your time. It's so valuable for us down under. We're going to get this out to our teams. And
well, we appreciate you, Jamel. And of course, I look forward to getting down there. I have a big project I want to do in Queensland. I actually have a DVD, okay, that was at the Tesla convention a year ago in August of 2019. This DVD, it's available. Okay, they can contact us. It's they gave it a funny title. They said my talk was Staying Healthy Always. Well, when I introduced myself, because they didn't tell me what they were going to put, my title is A Prescription for Mother Earth. Is how we in Queensland can actually save the ocean, save the reefs. I'm going to rebuild the Great Barrier Reef. I know how to do it in 90 days. I'll rebuild the Great Barrier Reef so it's much more vigorous than it's ever been in its entire life.
Wonderful. Well, Doc, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to doing this again. And
okay,
we're going to
start talking about rebuilding the Great Barrier Reef, because as soon as they give me the go ahead, I'm going to be down there in Queensland. Okay, and we are going to rebuild the Great Barrier Reef. I know exactly what to do, and it's all laid out in this DVD, so it's not going to be a surprise. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Doc. And I'm going to unmute everybody, and you can all say goodbye to Dr. Wallach. Thank you, Dr. Wallach, so much. Bye. Aloha.
Okay.
Aloha.
Good day, mate.
Have a great
Bye. Bye-bye, Dr. Wallach.
Well, g'day and aloha. I'm Jamel Boukabou, a 2-star executive with Youngevity International. We've just had 1 hour of Dr. Joel Wallach, the world famous, well-renowned doctor, naturopathic doctor, speaks at the UN, book in the Smithsonian, nominated for a Nobel Prize in Medicine, recently keynote speaker at the Tesla event. So here is Dr. Joel Wallach ND. You can become a distributor if you want, or just a customer, get wholesale prices. And if you do want to do that, contact the person that referred this video to you. And if you don't have a referrer, contact myself with the information down below. I'm not a doctor or a healthcare professional, so please consult your own healthcare professional for any health advice you would like. But here is who I think is the best naturopathic doctor on the planet, Dr. Joel Wallach. 30-minute lecture, 30-minute Q&A. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Jamel Boukabou, 2-star executive. Aloha.